This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 865 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is an excerpt from the Pro Eventing Radio Show. Laine Ashker stops by with some great advice on dealing with cross-country start boxes and stadium warm-up for green horses. And we'll get right to our tip after this important message from StatelineTack.com. When the weather forecast calls for wind, rain, bone-chilling temperatures, or snow, look no further than StatelineTack.com to make sure your barn time is warm, dry, and stylish. StatelineTack.com has jackets and vests that keep you warm and dry from afternoon hacks in New England to break of dawn schooling sessions in Wellington. They also carry a wide selection of toasty warm breeches for schooling ring or show ring. They even have waterproof breeches for those days when Mother Nature is at her worst. And StatelineTack.com knows there's nothing more satisfying than having warm, dry feet at the barn, so they have beautiful winter boots for showing, weather-busting paddock boots for on the horse or off, and lots of rubber boots for mucking about. Surf over to StatelineTack.com today and choose from your favorite brands like Ariat, Debonair, Dublin, Mountain Horse, Carrots, Tough Rider, and many, many more. StatelineTack.com.
What about the warm-up? Because I can totally identify with that. I hate show jumping warm-up. I think it's the worst part of the whole event. So how can we help? Have you got any hints for Alison how she can make that easier? Because it sounds like Maggie agrees with me.
Yeah, so for the warm-up, I got to tell you, especially like Comet, the first jump, it's like, hold on to the seat of your pants because they always overjump things. And so the biggest thing is maybe take, it depends on what kind of show you're at, but, the lower shows, have your coach kind of school you up, take one jump at a time but continue instead of the stop and go. Just continue to keep cantering her through just so she keeps her attention on you, especially the track horses. I've found, and I've had some that never grow out of it, and I have some that grow out of it pretty quickly, but horses coming at them really bums them out, and so they'll spin or they'll spook or they'll bolt away from the horse coming at them. Like my Lyle horse, he never got over that. That bummed him out, and so I would always have to take him to warm up in the flat. I would go into my own place to warm up, and then I would just jump a few fences and then take him away again to kind of relax them again. But for my horses like Raptor, Comet, they work better with just giving them something to do. So I'm constantly leg yielding off the rail, leg yielding to the rail, then jumping a jump, and I'll like to get Raptor a little bit calmed down. I'll just keep circling, figurating small turns over the cross rail till he becomes really, really relaxed with it. And then once he's good with that, then I'll move up to the next one and just so that it becomes really happenstance, really easy, really flowy. I think when you do a lot of stop and go, that kind of switches their brain off, switches their brain on, switches their brain off, and I think you just need a little more consistency. But you're going to, especially while she's green, the first fence she's going to overjump it for a while, until she starts to kind of get used to the skip and say, oh, okay, this is normal.
And I think, like my trainer said, she said that, Maggie doesn't seem to get upset about it at all. Like, even if I land on her neck or whatever, like nothing really seems to bother her that much. It upsets me a lot more than it upsets Maggie. Yeah. I get a lot more freak out.
Sure. Understandably so, but that's good that she doesn't seem to care.
Alison, did you have to go in
I'm lucky in that way. Go ahead.
Did you have to go in a start box for the cross country?
Yes.
And how was that? And Laine, what advice do you have? Like, how do you train your horse to get ready for the start boxes?
Well, but how was she in the start box? Was she good? She probably doesn't know.
Yeah. I mean, I did nothing to train her for the start box. We did, when we did the schooling on Saturday, to go over the first jump, we started from the start box, but I didn't stop her in there or anything. I just walked in and trotted out and went to the first jump. But yeah, I mean, I just walked around a few times when I had, 10 seconds to go. I walked in and she just stood there perfectly still. And when I asked her to trot out, she trotted out. I don't know, maybe next time it'll be different because she'll know what's coming. But this time, I guess she just didn't know where she was and what it meant.
And my thing is, and everybody has different standpoints on this, but the start box can be, especially for, for instance, for Lewis, one of my students that now rides Fairly Admin, start box can be a little bit hard because the horse is thinking he's going out to Rolex every time, and then he's sadly disappointed when it's a training level jump in front of him. So every horse, depending on their level, right, but I've been able to keep Al pretty relaxed going into the start box, and everybody's different. Everybody likes to gear up different. Everybody's horse is different. But for my guys, and especially the thoroughbreds that are always kind of ready to go, I try to keep their excitement at bay by just simply, when they give me the 2-minute call, I drop my reins, and even going into Rolex, I'm on literally a long rein. I'm petting him, and I walk. What's nice is the new start boxes now you can go in one side and out the other. You don't have to walk in from the front and then turn around. And I just like to figure eight, and I'll hand walk and pet him as we go through it on the long rein, and then I'll turn around, walk back the other direction, and I always keep them walking. I never stand them when they start counting down. I never stand them in there because I feel that's when you have to start to reverting to your hands. That's when some horses tend to go up, especially because when you think on the track, they stand them in that start box and a start gate.
Yeah.
So I just think of, and that builds a lot of anxiety. So I just think of riding them on a long rein. And look, you're always going to be behind the clock when they say start. So even when they say go, that's when I pick my reins up. My reins aren't really short, as they're counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As they say go, I pick my reins up, and then I, especially with my younger horses, I'll take off at a trot, and then I'll take off at a canter, just to keep it a relaxing thing. You don't want to start with a horse that's already breathing fire out of the start box, because then it's really hard to make them focus initially in the course.
Yeah, I think those are probably good habits to get into, because, some horses, it becomes a real issue.
Yes, it does. It does. And I think it's, I think it's direct correlation to the rider. And I think it's, like I said, everybody's different. And some people, I've had horses that are, kind of stoppers, and they're kind of dead, some of the warm bloods, or even some of the thoroughbreds are kind of dead to the world, and you kind of got to get them humped up. But at the end of the day, I always feel I want to have a relaxed horse going out, so I feel like they're more rideable. So I always feel like it's my kind of zen time walking around. I'm focusing on me. It's really hard to focus on your course when you're having to wrangle in this wild fire-breathing, horse around the start box. Yeah. So I always feel it's a little easier to concentrate just walking around, kind of grooving in your zen mode, thinking, and so I've just kind of adopted that sort of style on all of my horses, and so far that's what it seems to work. So.
And that's a wrap. You can also find lots more tips about topics ranging from barn care to websites for horse people at horsetipdaily.com. Just look for the topics drop-down menu on the left. And you can tune in every week to the Eventing Radio Show at eventingradio.com for the latest news from the eventing world, interviews with eventers at every level, and great tips on every aspect of eventing. And you can now have all of the Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go with our new free app for iPhone and Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. And don't forget, support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily, because they really do make these podcasts possible. This podcast has been brought to you through the generous support of Statelinetack.com. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.